Good morning, everyone. I'm back, and I'm back with a better mood. Yes. Some of you might have noticed that I didn't do any painting on Sunday. I lost every little bit of motivation to pick up some paint and do anything. I was really down in the dumps, but I'm right back where I should be. So here we are. This is the new sponsor list. And of course, I like to thank everyone that's on it. And of course, I'll thank you too for watching this video, because that's the kind of person I am, yeah. Okay, guys. These, every single one is just not up to par to be sold. Now, I'll show you what happened, because I think this is important. I did this one yesterday. This is one of the pours I did last week. It was a really pretty one, if you can see it up close. But look what happened. Can you see that? Every single time it does that, and I've been trying everything. This one I let cure in the sun outside, but it just, you know, there's a little bit of a bump going on there, and there's all that stuff going on there, so it's totally ruined. Now this one, you can see it just a little bit. Let me see if I can get you in focus a little bit better. Oh yeah, there you go. This one has just a tiny bit, if you can see that here. So that one's not worth selling. Then I have this one. Now you'll think that it's okay, but if you look over it on the, let's see if I can, oh yeah, there you go. See all that stuff going on there? That's not good. I think, you know, oh no, and there's a little bit down there where it's like it's separating, something like that. Now this one, full of air bubbles, really tiny ones, don't know what's going on there. Then let's see what else I have, something different. Well, this one has air bubbles, but it also has a big bubble and then something going on top, so that one's not worth selling. This one is pretty much okay. I could sell that one. That one's okay. But then I found out how to avoid it, because this one I let dry in the sun too, or cure in the sun. And this one's perfectly okay, nice and smooth. I'll be popping this one up on Etsy this afternoon or tomorrow, like I always say but never do. I'm not much of a salesperson. That's my problem. Oh boy. But I figured out how to fix that. Now, when I put in the little pores into the frames, I stick them in, let that dry for a day. Then I come in with glaze medium. I put a whole layer of glaze medium on top, and then I put the resin on top, and that sort of works. So I'm pretty happy with that. So I figured it out at last. So I'm hoping not to mess up so many of these, because these are all, except 2 or 3, these are ready to dump. And that's really sad, but that's the way it is. Now, this one I did last week too. This is really pretty. I like this. And what I did is I really made it to frame. I'm going to put it in one of those black frames, and that's going to be really nice, like that. And then I'm going to pop this one on Etsy too, but first I'm going to varnish it, of course. Then I did the big one last week. This one is really big. Now this one turned out, let me get you in close. Look at that. Is that not just, you know, how this is going into the background? That is so pretty. See up here too. This is really big. It is 55 centimeters by 33, and this is, I think, about the biggest one I've ever done. And I like really the whole thing about this bottle cap pouring is about when this goes into the background for me, because I think that is really something that, you know, adds to the pour, makes it a little bit more different. Now the other thing that I did that you might remember, I'm not sure if I can show you that, but you can see it a little bit. I'm in real life this shows up much better, but as you can see here, this line and here, and you see a line going down here. Here you see it, up here and up here. This is where I put glitter on top, then torched it, and then the glitter sort of makes its way into the pattern, and that's much, you know, I think that is more beautiful than just putting glitter on top when it sort of gets into a sort of a stream. Not sure if you can really, when the light hits it, you really see it. So that's what I'm going to try later on today. I'm going to do this again and try and get those really beautiful streams of glitter. Now this is a 33 by 55. If anyone's interested, please slip me an email and we'll figure it out. Okie dokie. I have some slight music in the background. I thought I'd like that, but it's sort of getting on my nerves already, and it's meditation music, so that's kind of funny. Okay, now this is a sort of a everything video, because I got a lot of people asking me stuff, so that's what I'm gonna try. You know, this is gonna be about mixing, about what I've done, about the jewelry, about Shibori. This is gonna be a mess, but I know the people that watch these videos where I talk a lot, those are the ones that really appreciate it, and that's the people I make this video for. Don't put a comment down here that you don't like me talking that much, because now is the time to click on the button and stop the video. Okie dokie? Yeah. Now I'm going to mix some of this burnt sienna, and this one I don't mix colors, it's just pure color. So what I do is I put a lot of paint in the cup, and as you can see, it's about that much. Then I take the pouring medium, and as you can see here, new formula. You can buy this in America. Dick Blick has it. They sell it in Germany, France, everywhere you can buy this stuff. It's much cheaper than Liquitex pouring medium, and this is my go-to pouring medium because it always works. So what I do is I put about 40%, as you can see, about 40%, and then I mix it nicely into the paint. And I always make sure that I take the sides, mix it up. There we go. I'm going to do it a little fast because I'm pretty sure you don't want to see me mixing for an hour. When that is all smooth, I add about 10%. I have to open it up first. Sometimes it gets that little thing on top. Now this is gloss medium. See the number? If you have that number, you're perfectly sure that you have the right stuff. So it's gloss medium, and I put in still a little. I put in about 10%. Then I stir that up. And maybe because of this gloss medium that my paints stay that vibrant and sort of shiny, but you always, you know, if you really want it shiny or glossy, you have to varnish it anyway. So nicely mixed up. As you can see, not that many air bubbles yet. So now we have the pouring medium and the gloss medium. Then I have a bottle, and here you can see it's PVA. It's the Collal. I'll get one. This is what it looks like. It's bookbinding glue, and it's archival. It has a pH that is really low. It is a binding agent for pigments, so it is really much different than Elmer's glue or that kind of stuff. This is used also to make paint. So what I do, I put it in a bottle about this much, then I add water and I shake it up really well, and then it comes out of the bottle much easier. So I put about 10% in there, and I promise you this is not rocket science. I promise that even if you don't put in 10, if you put in 15 or you put in 8%, it will absolutely not be a problem. Now that is all smooth. Then the last ingredient, and that is Floetrol. You can still read it a little bit. This is pure Floetrol, and I add a little bit of that. That's about a tablespoon on that much paint. So then I stir that in. And this, you can experiment with the Floetrol. You can put in a little more, a little less. I find that using the Floetrol, it makes the cells sometimes come up with 3 or 4 rings with different colors. Because it's a flow agent, it makes it flow, and I think that just helps with the beauty of the cells. So I never skip the Floetrol, never. Now, I have all the ingredients in here, as you can see, still very thick. And that's when I put in my water. So first off, I put in, well, a lot. And then slowly I do a little bit by little bit. So we're gonna smooth it all up. And as you can see, it's really thick, doesn't come off the stick yet. So I add a little bit more. And make sure that you get the bottom and the sides. Now it's coming off the stick, but it's coming off the stick in chunks. And I'm not sure how I can show you the side right now, because I'm going to show you the side when it's the perfect consistency. So you just keep adding a tiny little bits of water. And I like to use one of these squeeze laboratory bottles, because it's really easy to dose how much you want in there. Now it's pretty much almost there, and I'll show you how much water I'm adding at a time. When I do this, it's about that much water. So really at the end I'm only putting in little bits at a time and stirring. The amount of stirring is pretty much important. You don't want to stir just a little bit. You want to really stir this stuff up, because even when I'm doing this now, I'm doing all 3, 4 of those other mediums. They're getting in there and mixing up and doing their thing. Taking off the sides. Now this is perfect. I'm going to stop the video and show you on the side. Okay, so while I'm stirring, I'll show you. See how that's like honey? It just comes off that stick in one continuous stream. Now I'm pretty confident that it needs just a little bit more, and I will add just a little bit more water just to make sure that when it's in the bottle that I keep it in here, that there's enough water that I don't have to keep on adding after a few days. So here it is. That's it. See that? That's perfect. Now someone asked me to put it on a flat piece of surface, and pull my finger through to show you how fast that it closes again, and that's what I'm going to do right now. Okay, now I'm going to pour it on the paper here. This is pretty much close up. So imagine that this is the canvas, and it doesn't really close that fast, so as you can see. So if yours is really closing fast, the paint is too thin. This is as fast as it goes, but when I pour some more on, I think I can pour it back. This is how fast it goes when you tilt it. I'm going to tilt it back. That's pretty much how it works. Okay, I'm going to put that aside, put this one aside. Make sure a little bit, take that off. Now I'm going to do one more close-up. This time I'm going to do I'll do turquoise, because a lot of people talk about my turquoises. Okie dokie. We have, oops, this one, phthalo blue. This is Winsor & Newton. This is the type of paint you need, Galeria. And you see the number is 516. And as you can see here, this is the light fastness and this is the transparency. So what I do, oh, this one's almost gone. And that's pretty much, you don't really need that much of this color. There's number one. Then we go to the green one. The number is 522. Here's the light fastness and the transparency. So we're going to make a nice green turquoise. If you want it more on the green side, you'll have to have a little bit more green than blue. And then I put titanium in it. Titanium, oops, it's coming out already. Titanium white. Pretty much done. Good thing I have another. There you go. So there's a lot of white and not so much of the blue and the green. So when you have that nicely mixed into each other, as you can see, this is kind of really green turquoisey color. Oh, there might be someone coming at the door in a minute. I had a craving for Cadbury's Fruit and Nut. I don't know if you know that chocolate, but that is so delicious. So I ordered some because you can't buy that here in the shops. Well, you can, but you'll have to go to a lot of shops to find out who has it. So I thought, just do it online. Saves me a lot of driving and parking. So that was the pouring medium. Now the gloss medium. Mixing it all up. Now the PVA. Pouring it all, stirring it all up. Then the Floetrol. Stirring it all up. Now I'm going to put in the water. That's a lot of water. The thing is that if you, the first time off you put too much water in, you get a lot of those bubbles. As you can see here, this I stirred a lot, almost no bubbles whatsoever. See that? This one I put in way too much water the first time. This is loaded with bubbles. Ah well, I'll just let it stand for a while. Now, other thing is when you have a lot of bubbles in your paint, it will react differently when it's coming off the stick. So that's maybe something that you might encounter, that you have a lot of bubbles and you're sort of not seeing it coming nicely off the stick. You'll have to just let it settle for a bit and then come back and do it again, because that's usually what happens. Now, Winsor & Newton is a paint that is very forgiving if you do that, because and this is experience, I know how much water I can put in before it gets too thin, but if you put in enough water after you make all those bubbles, you'll see that it pretty much releases them when you stir even more. Now that's perfect. So now I have the same consistency as this one, the burnt sienna, but I do have more bubbles, so that will just have to rest before we use it. There it is. Okay guys, I'm gonna put this aside, and now we're gonna talk Shibori. So let me do that. I'll cut that out. Now, you know how much I love all the blues, and I think that's why I sort of took a liking to the whole Shibori thing. This is a handbook of indigo dyeing, but this is really just Shibori. She just named it something different, I guess. Or does she not talk about Shibori? I'm sure she does, because Shibori is about, you know, what she's doing here, the tying off the fabric before you dye it. So it tells you all about what to do, health and safety. This stuff is pretty dangerous though, but I'm gonna look into that, see if I can make something that isn't that dangerous. But it tells you a little bit of the background, then everything you need. Need a lot of stuff, so to see. And this is all the stuff you can use to tie off the fabric. This is preparing the fabric. You have to wash it with soda, and then, as you can see, comes all the patterns. This is how you do it. It's kind of nice, and I think there's a lot of beautiful pictures in this book. I'm more of a person, and this is the pattern that I'm going for, because I love that. Only you can't see what happened to it, but okay, I know what happens when you do this. So I'm gonna do a video about this, and I really want to get into the whole Shibori thing. I'm gonna do pillows to sell on Etsy. The thing is that I like all these things. I like my pouring paintings. I like Shibori cushions and pillows and stuff, but how I have my house, it doesn't fit into my house, because I have a whole different style of, I don't know how that happened. How could that happen? I'm not sure, but okay. I'm pretty much at the end of this video. It's way too much. Oh yeah. My dog Nookie is doing okay. She's back to being a total rabbit. You know, the rabbit that jumps that way and then that way and turns around in the air. She still does that. So her leg, I think her leg is back to 100% back to normal. She still has a little bump where the vet gave her the injection, but it's slowly, you know, almost not visible. You can just feel it a little bit. So she's doing okay. Why I was in the dumps was pretty much because of I think the vacation. I was so looking forward to, oh, now I see this. I don't have my microphone popped in. Oh boy, this is one of these days. But I hope you can hear me, because I have a lot of paint on my iPad that might be clogging my microphone. But I think it was about, you know, going on vacation, and everything sort of went wrong there. You know, not being able to take my dog to the beach and all that thing. And then the bump that I got all sort of, it made me really sick to my stomach, you know, but then I read that a lot of dogs had that, so that was okay. Then I wanted to go, you know, that special part of the beach where you get those tiny, really beautiful, tiny little shells, because I was going to give them to you guys, but that was gone. Then, oh, I don't think I even told you that. There was this, how do you call it? The sand, or quicksand. I was, there's a big boat, and it sucks up sand and it blows it onto the beach, because our islands, you know, in the winter, the erosion sort of gets all the sand washed into the sea or something like that. So there were no warning signs, but I'm walking along the beach where they're doing that, and there's nothing, I don't see anything. But then I stand still because I saw something I wanted to show you guys, or I wanted to make a picture of. And all of a sudden I look, and it's quicksand, and I'm slowly going down into the sand. And that scared the creepy Jesus out of me, because I was going to say something else, the S word. But that really scared me, because I was walking there all alone, and I'm thinking, oh, what if I got stuck? No one could help me, and then I'd slowly sort of sink into the into the sand. Yeah, that creeped me out. So that's sort of, I think that the whole thing altogether was something that, you know, just made that vacation really, really suck. That's the word. Okay, guys, gonna shut this off, clean up all this mess I've made, and I'm gonna be back with a pouring, and I'm thinking about doing some resin work, because I'm sort of feeling the resin bug bite me. So see you all later. Love you lots of pieces. Bye.